Here. All right. So it's nice to see everybody this a beautiful morning. Good morning. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime. And so I wanted to go over because people have been hounding me. This is about all I'm going to say about my, the court proceedings with Queen Bee. The court proceedings are now over. And that was at my graciousness, not hers. We were getting up to where I was going to be forcing her to turn over a lot of discovery, including her finances. We were about to go to court for several motions for compel. I'm exhausted with this case. Her attorney wanted to speak about possibly settling this case so I can focus on other things. As many of you know, this was after Charlie Kirk was executed. And so I spoke to her attorney, and we were getting into the discovery discussions about what she needed to turn over to me. And so we had decided to postpone those until last Thursday to see if we were going to move forward with the settlement. Now, the settlement was basically her case against me goes away with prejudice. My case with her goes away with prejudice. And I figured, you know what, I don't really say a whole lot about her. So the one thing I did say, being removed with prejudice, I thought was a good deal for me and would also make her, be a little more, pay more attention to violation of law, knowing that I could bring the case back, which means I can bring this case back. I just can't use any of the past claims that were previously brought up. Any of those past claims, such as harassment, well, the harassment's not a claim, but as far as, tortious interference with my business, the defamation, she continues to talk about me. So those defamation, I can bring up anytime if she defames me again. So I'm looking at this from a strategic point. She's only had one thing I've ever said about her, and that goes away with prejudice. Meanwhile, she's made over 3,000 videos, 800 videos, and over 3,000 hours of speaking only about me. So literally from the date of this particular order behind me, from that point forward, anything she says or does to me can be brought back to court. Again, I'm not the one that speaks on her. I don't defame her. My case was very strong. They deposed me. There was one thing that came out of that deposition still does not put a stake in, because it happened prior to any of this. It happened months, if not a year prior to the statements at hand that she made. And as far as my statement about her, it was mostly true. Okay, so I was very confident in surviving a summary judgment. I was very confident in surviving whatever they had. But to depose her and Bertos, which I was going to do, was going to cost thousands of dollars, which I, again, willing to do. But I figured we've been fighting for years. The stuff that she was doing to this channel has pretty much stopped. She's going to talk shit. I really don't care if she talks shit, as long as she doesn't affect my channel. I don't care. To each their own. But don't come over here monkey effing around with my channel. And if you do, I will sue you again. If you defame me, I will sue you again. This does not stop anything from this point forward. So she's got a clean slate. It depends on whether she's going to keep that clean slate. But I think I've proved my point that I have no problem taking somebody to court. I have no problem getting my, making sure that my channel as well as my name is protected. I think I've stood on that for a long time. I'm showing her grace in light of Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's it. If she needs to go and tell everybody that she won the case, I'm saying nobody won. It was as you can see, a joint stipulation of dismissal with prejudice. Okay? This says, comes now, Andrew Griffin, pro se, and Rebecca Turner by and through. So therefore, this right here would not have happened unless I agreed to this and unless she agreed to this. Now, she wanted to agree to this. Why? Because we were about to get court orders for her to turn over a lot of messages and financial records. She does not want to know. She doesn't want people to know where her money has gone from all of these, funds. There's nothing I can do about that. I had an opportunity to clean the slate, and that's what I did. We know that we don't sit here and defame a trash channel. We don't spend a whole lot of time on this trash channel. But please make no mistakes. This is not, I even had somebody come over and said, we knew you were going to twist this up. Twist this up? I said nobody won. The only person twisting anything up is anybody that thinks that this is a winner. Let's look at the facts here. I brought a case. The case has been wrapped up in litigation for 3 years. That case raised almost $100,000 from the hate channels. $40,000 was paid for an attorney. Don't know what happened to the rest of the money, but I hear other vehicles were purchased. And we were just getting ready to expose several people and acquire financial documents. Again, I was showing grace in light of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I am going to continue to show that grace. But make no mistake, there are no winners here. And the only thing I've ever said about that woman has now gone bye-bye. With prejudice, mind you. So the only person sitting pretty out of all of this is me. Okay? I'm a very strategic person. I saw what was before me. I had an opportunity to show grace and to get something taken care of. I chose the option to do it. She was kind of cornered because if we extend this any longer, we were going to do more depositions and she was going to be forced to turn over records, text messages, as well as her finances. So let's not get it twisted, okay? I do not want to talk about her again. I do not want to talk about this case again. This case is gone. If she picks a fight with me again or picks a scab, we will reinitiate a new lawsuit and tie her back up in court until she understands she cannot continue to act in violation of civil and criminal code. Now, after 3 years, I have a litany of actual templates for this, so it's not going to be as clusterfucked as it was the first go round. I promise you the next time will be much more streamlined and much more successful, much quicker. So that's all I've got to say about that. Here's the receipts, joint stipulation for dismissal. She wouldn't have been able to get it alone. I wouldn't have been able to get it alone. We came together, we agreed to this, and now she's going out and misrepresenting what happened. So God bless everybody out there. All I can do is show you the proof in the pudding, and be done with it. If you want to believe what you want to believe, go ahead and believe what you want to believe. But at the end of the day, she didn't want you knowing about her finances. She didn't want you knowing how much she collected. She didn't want you guys knowing the truth. Look at it like that. But again, if she wants to step in the bullshit again, she wants to try to take my channel down, she wants to defame me every single day of her life, we'll be back in court very quickly. We'll be back in court very quickly. And this time, I will not let it go out of grace. I've given her grace. This is my one time of showing this lady grace. If I were her, I would take it. I would really take it. Because the next time, it will be 10 times worse. 10 times worse. We have several cases to discuss. We're done with this case. Anybody wants information, don't be calling me. Don't be calling my mod saying, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? I don't play that. This case is over. It's going into the archives. I'm not pulling out anything. I'm not helping anybody else with what they may be doing with this person. Nobody helped me when I was going through it. So let's just be very clear and not get it twisted. So don't be coming over here asking for a favor from me because I ain't got none to give. Okay? You do your own work just like I had to do. You do your own lawsuit just like I had to do. And you stand on that hill alone just like I had to do. That's my statement to whoever's been trying to get a hold of me. Okay? All right, Cupcake? Not the answer you wanted. Not the answer you wanted. But it's the answer you're going to get. So we have a case of Sebastian Rogers. He's been missing since February 26, 2024 and has not been seen or heard from since. He was 15 years old. He has now turned 16, and now we're approaching his actual 17th birthday with no sight or any type of possible sighting of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Despite his father, which has been an avid supporter of his, and I know his father does, appreciates me being here, but doesn't necessarily like my commentary, but I'm just a straight shooter, and I believe Katie Proudfoot unalived her son. Okay? I believe Chris Proudfoot came home and helped her clean up the mess and disposed of Sebastian Rogers. I do not know where Sebastian Rogers is, but there is no other explanation. People have been looking for a year and a half with him above ground, and they've been looking for him at every single type of facility imaginable because everybody's being told that he's alive. I do not believe it. And every time we're looking for Sebastian above ground, we're not looking below ground. And I think he's more in line with being below ground at this moment because we're almost 2 years in, and I don't think anybody could hide somebody this well in a facility. Okay, there has to be some type of paper trail. Nobody would be taking care of this child without some type of financial support or assistance. It's not easy to take care of a child that has special needs, period. It is not cheap to take care of a person in a facility. There has to be a money trail. There's no way that anybody could come up with cash payments every single month and keep it under the radar. I'm sorry, it's just not possible, not into today's society. If you truly believe it is without having to go through extreme, which, let's be honest, Chris and Katie are lazy as shit. Extreme, stuff, you ain't doing it. And, while I do hope Sebastian Rogers is alive, I do hope that he is in this, a facility, and they have been able to manage to really steamroll every possible ability to find him. They've managed to be so much smarter than everybody else in the entire country and world. I just have a hard time believing that. And it's getting harder and harder to keep getting along to get along. Okay, I do not believe Sebastian Rogers is alive. I believe he's deceased, and I believe his mother killed him. That is my opinion about the situation, and a lot goes into that opinion, including him walking into his home and never walking out. Yet we see lights going to a vehicle that shows a blob carrying a blob, and I believe that is a deceased Sebastian Rogers. But again, not to be nasty or to beat this over the head. It's just that, every time I try to put on a brave face, I feel like I'm lying to my audience and I'm lying to myself because some of the stuff I'm saying because, I don't want to hurt feelings, but it's not what I believe. And I think that's an unfair place to put me. So we're going to speak frankly, and we need to start getting people out there in the forest because there's some things that lead me to that back road, the road that we never went down on the other side of the Proudfoot home where law enforcement said a truck had lights peering through. That is in the northwest, which is where Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Chris Proudfoot, told us to start looking for him. And we do clearly have acknowledgement from law enforcement that a truck was up and around at that time of morning. And could that have been a dump place for Sebastian? Why weren't they out in that area? So a lot of questions go in. There is some things coming up. We do have a flyer. I was hopeful that the flyer stuff, we used to have a really lively bunch on the Bullhorn Betty channel where people love designing stuff. And now I've got nobody sending me flyers. So the only one that we've got is Sonia. Sonia sent me a flyer for Sebastian's event. We're going to be releasing that this Friday in just a few days. And, if she wants the deception deck, I'm going to send her to the deception deck. If you guys would like to participate, send me a flyer. It's for his event from the 23rd, February 23rd to the February 27th. I want people in front of Sumner County Sheriff's on February 26th at the 2-year milestone. And, I'd like to have at least 100 people that show up for Sebastian. We've given 5 months advance notice for people to make arrangements to be there. So, I'm hoping that people come out. I'm hoping people bring their happy face and make some really cool and genuine signs for Sebastian. I'd like to see some signs that say honk for Sebastian. I'd like it to be loud. You guys know me. I like it loud. I like it bold. I like people smiling. I like people, showing people that Sebastian is loved by many people, that we are not forgetting Sebastian, and we need the community to come out and step up and do what's right for this boy to get this case solved. Hopefully that does happen. So we'll see. The next is, the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. They've been missing for, actually, before we go there, let's talk about another case, two more cases in Tennessee. This is Layla Santinello, and this is Holland Snap. Layla Santinello disappeared first. I had an opportunity to speak with Jen Santinello yesterday, just to get an idea of what's going on. I haven't seen her in a while. But what I did learn is there's not a whole lot of new information coming out about her daughter. There's been a few rumors that have come out, and law enforcement has been working with her and has been doing multiple different targeted searches. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because she's an adult that disappeared. She was on substances at the time of her disappearance. And we have, oh, hey, Robin, it's nice to see you, love bug. She says, good morning, all you beautiful coffee beans. Everyone hit the like button for Betty's hard work. I will definitely be there in Tennessee, Sebastian's Army. Thank you, love. Amen for that. Amen for that. That would be wonderful. But Layla and Holland Snap, they disappeared like a month apart from each other. And even though they didn't know each other directly, they knew some of the people in their same circle. It is believed that the gentleman that Holland Snap was with beat her up and killed her. We're still unsure what happened to Layla Santinello. Was it an OD? Was it somebody that intentionally hurt her, or somebody that unintentionally hurt her? We still don't know what happened to her or where she may be. We have a little more details on leaning about what could have happened to Holland Snap. But still, both of these girls still haven't been found, and there haven't been any arrests in any of these two cases. And so now we're going to be moving over to Lilly and Jack Sullivan, which have been, missing since May 2nd, 2025, and I'm trying to find a little thing for them, but it's been a while, and I guess I forgot to grab one when I was setting up the show, so I apologize about that. Usually I have little backdrops for everybody, but today apparently I'm falling a little short. Ooh, another person we can talk about real quick. Oh, thank you, Sonia. At 50,000 mark, when do a giveaway for the, oh, okay, 50,000 mark will do the giveaway for the deception deck. Thank you so much. Thank you. Another case in Tennessee before we move on to Lilly and Jack is Summer Wells. They had enhanced her, updated her photo yet again of what she may look like this day and age had she not been missing. This is another child that I believe the mom and the dad are responsible for. I think Summer Wells is deceased. I think she's been dead. I don't know if it was because of abuse or if it's because of a drowning at the water hole or some other type of situation, but she did not look healthy that day, that afternoon. She actually looked like she was dying in the back of the truck. And then we never saw her again. And it was a day after their house was also visited by the Department of Children and Family Services. So let me get back here. Sorry about that. We do have Lilly and Jack Sullivan somewhere. I think this would work for us. I think this kind of has everybody. So this is the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly and Jack are the two children up at the top, the grandmother Janie, which was out at the property when they disappeared, and of course their mother at the very bottom, Malehya, and their stepfather, Daniel, which have inconsistent statements about what happened to the two children on May 2nd. Very, very confused. It's very, very unlikely two children disappeared. There was a lot of activity going on outside of their home leading up to their being reported disappeared, predominantly from midnight to 5 a.m. when somebody had heard what appeared to be either a 5-speed car or an ATV running back and forth by their house at least 6 times, which would equate to 3 full trips to an unknown location. Recently, we found out that they are taking cadaver dogs out to the Lansdowne, Nova Scotia area, and they're going to be doing searches with those dogs. They have not discussed what those dogs have found so far, but I find it interesting that it just like, not just this case, but also Sebastian Rogers' case, every time something bad comes out from law enforcement, you see Chris Proudfoot acting like a pure jackass. And while Daniel is a little more reserved, which is pretty shocking because, you know, Chris Proudfoot is allegedly a Navy military guy, and, you know, Daniel Martell is more of a, you know, math addict that likes to smoke in the bathroom and forget about the children, you know, like, just, he's a drug addict. And he is more reserved than Chris Proudfoot. It's just insane to me. But It's a Crime and Shame has really had her hand on the pulse. Sunny has been able to speak with Belinda Gray, which is the paternal grandmother for the 2 children up here, because she's the mom of their biological dad that has nothing to do with them. But she's always tried to be in their lives, and she describes Malehya being wishy-washy, but finally basically ending any type of communication with her whenever she got with Daniel Martell and kind of ended their relationship together. They didn't really see each other anymore. Belinda didn't really have the kids over like she wanted to have. And so she's been kind of using Sunny's channel to get some of those, you know, thoughts and feelings and truths out there to the public about what was going on. Now, Belinda Gray believes the 2 kids are deceased. They're no longer with us. Law enforcement came out very, very early in this case. Hey, I see you. It's nice to see you. Very, very early in the case, and stated that they believe the children were deceased. Did they jump to the conclusions too quickly? Did they have something there that led them to believe the parents were involved and these children were deceased? Or, you know, did they overlook a potential abduction scenario in this case? I don't know. I just know that Malehya and Daniel's relationship literally ended the very next day. She wanted nothing to do with him. She ran away from home. She never came back to the scene. She's never really been public. Thank you, Peggy. Never really been public about, you know, wanting the children home or any type of urgency. She hasn't come to the public for crap. Her friends have come to the public. She's been seen out at the beach, but she's never been seen on a search for her children. So many people believe that their fight is not genuine. Their fight is more being scared for their own, you know, personal safety because something happened to these children and they want, you know, basically to point the finger at one another or something. Something is not right here. And both parents, the mom and the stepfather, are not acting appropriately for the scenario that's at hand here, much like Sebastian Rogers and the mom and the stepdad for him. But, you know, it's kind of weird because Daniel Martell was only speaking with mainstream media during this entire stuff. He basically gave social media the big middle finger, basically saying that we are too busy, you know, speculating and all this. Of course we're going to speculate. We're going to theorize. That's what makes, you know, gives us ideas of avenues to look down. If you take that away, you hinder your ability to analyze a case. You know, you've got to think of all possibilities and communicate those and search for the truth with those possibilities. So I'm never shamed or will ever be shamed for theorizing or looking at these cases or analyzing these cases or walking down several different roads related to these cases to get to the truth. But he never really liked social media. We've never seen him on social media. And lo and behold, how the Drunken Turkey Show got this interview, he's dropping clips and segments of this interview that he had with Daniel Martell. And, you know, I'm still not buying, I've never bought Daniel Martell's story. I don't know if I will buy his story. I just don't believe the mom or the stepfather in this, and it's making it very hard. You know, even though Daniel is hitting all the check boxes in the right areas, especially at the beginning, there are a few things that are telling me major red flag. There's some behavioral things that he did, including but not limited to going to the trash can with his phone recording and a witness to lift it up to look for a pink blanket. That came out of his own mouth. That was awfully weird. It sounded like he knew something was there and wanted to make sure that he was recording himself finding it for the first time, which, you know, it seems like a setup. I didn't like it. The other things is that he was constantly wanting to be in the spotlight as the only person really sticking up for these kids, basically saying Malehya's not doing it. He used his family to interject that Malehya had nothing to do with the kids, that it was only Daniel taking care of the kids. Yet Daniel has been known to be in the bathroom smoking meth. Okay, let's cut it out. And it just doesn't make sense to me that he's the only one coming out speaking about these kids. Where is Malehya? Where has Malehya been? I'm very, very concerned with these kids, and I think Malehya and Daniel both know what happened, and I do believe Janie also knows what happened. I think she knows she's lying for her son. I don't know what's wrong with the RCMP and why they can't locate these children, but I've never been one to trust a whole lot of dogs. Yeah, they're utilized, and they're very good when they're utilized, but I've also seen many cases where the dogs were off. Elijah Vu is a good example. The area was searched 5 times, and it took a hunter and his hunting dog to find Elijah Vu. Brian Laundrie, one of the cases that I was personally involved in, walked by his remains. No, there were no bird activity. There were no stuff circling around him. There was nothing that I could see. I was 500 feet away from him, and I couldn't smell him. So, you know, there are a lot of things. Everybody says, well, you know, if you do this, and this. No. Because out there's so much foliage. But I believe they're on the path of least resistance, because I believe Daniel and Malehya had a hand in doing something with these children, because I'm not going to dismiss the ATV riding up and back, 6 different times in the middle of the night. I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to forget hearing Daniel's mother, Janie, tell us that he wanted to use the ATV, and she told him no. And then she went and got her other son, and then they went and picked up Daniel by a pipeline, which a lone shoe print just happened to be found a day later. These things don't make sense to me. So I'm very interested in the Drunken Turkey Show. It looks like they're going to be releasing an exclusive interview today or tomorrow. Is today the 1st, or is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. Looks like they're going to be releasing it tomorrow. Tomorrow night, it looks like he's going to be live, if I got that correct. And, of course, we've got a little more information coming in. 61-year-old man angry because he spent a lot of money on her, felt used by her, and then refused to leave her husband, a beautiful family. I don't know which one that one's about. So, lastly, we've got some stuff going on, around this country, and many people are saying this guy was a Trump supporter. I'll be honest with you, I don't know one way or another. I just know any true MAGA Trump supporter could never injure anybody of faith or children. So I'm having a hard time believing that this guy has anything to resemble anything like what we believe or are. And so I'm not going to change that or my motivation on that or my narrative running for that until I find out more, because everything I'm seeing is yes, he is a veteran, but I can't, just because his family likes Trump doesn't mean he does. The shirt that's being passed around as not being legitimate with the Trump and, a cigar thing, I don't know whether that has been photoshopped. I want to lean to it has not been photoshopped, but I would like to get down to it, and I'm just being honest. Listen, I'm not the one that shot up the church. I have no reason to lie. If it's somebody that's on our side, it'll make me sick to my stomach, but I'm glad he's dead. No matter how you look at it, I'm sorry. I'm not the kind of Christian that's going to say, I'm not glad he didn't say, that these law enforcement people didn't put an end to his life. What he did was morally reprehensible, and I hope he lives his life in straight hell for eternity. That's where he belongs. Shame on him. Shame on him. I'm not going to blame this on PTSD from the military. I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not giving him a way out or sugarcoating this in any way. This guy was a lunatic, okay? And I don't think 4 years in the military is what did it to him. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be convinced that it is, okay? Especially since it was 22 some odd years ago. You're telling me in 22 freaking years you can't get 4 years of your combat experience fixed in your flippin' brain? This is somebody that wanted to hurt the MAGA movement, not help the MAGA movement. So I don't consider him one of ours. I'm not going to claim him as one of ours. I don't care what the news says. He is not one of ours. And I'd like the people that I hired. I'd like the FBI, Dan Bongino or Kash Patel, to tell me, because I didn't hire people in this state to tell me. I want my FBI. They were out there. According to Pam Bondi, they put all their efforts in there. They should be able to tell us something that we can trust and believe. And so far, I haven't heard anything from the FBI. And I'd like to hear something from the FBI. We know for a fact that we are in an area of our time. So here's one of the shirts right here. This one shows without that emblem on it, but I could have sworn I did see it on a different paper picture rather on a site, but I'm not sure. And also this right here, which you'll see, I've got it on X. I'm sorry I didn't get it smaller than this, but it says that Antifa is burning churches, ICE facility, and murdering people at church. So I'm starting to feel like law enforcement, because this is coming from one of our representatives, our congressional representatives. So I'm starting to think that he might be associated with Antifa based upon this person's statement. But again, I don't know. I've got no reason to lie about what I'm reading here. He's either Republican or he's not. But somebody sent me a whole bunch of stuff that he has made some significant contributions to Act Blue, which we know is a predominantly Democrat-ran money platform. So getting a lot of mixed messages about the guy. I would like to know more. I think just for myself, not, I don't like feeling the aha moment, because I don't believe this guy's ours. I really don't. I don't care how it looks on its face. I just don't believe he's one of ours. Now, I am going to prepare you all now that it does appear like we are going to be shutting down the government. I don't want you guys to being too awfully concerned. Yeah, I know it sounds very, very bad. I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think. Many of us, at least if you're like me, have been wanting to reduce the size of our government. No matter how we look at this situation going on in our country, I don't see how we're not going to benefit. For example, if we shut down the government, we have an opportunity to remove about 100,000 jobs, bureaucrat jobs, which is what we've been wanting. We want a way to slim down our government very quickly. So by shutting our government down, we're going to be able to basically boot those 100,000 jobs immediately. With very limited kickback or lawsuits or whatever. It's going to be lawfully and legally without any problem. Kick them out the door, get them moved on. And of course, it's going to be 7 weeks, which everything after 7 weeks will be brought back up. And so you're looking at several weeks of uncomfortability potentially, and it's only for non-essential stuff. I don't think non-essential stuff is going to be related to our military, in all fairness, but we will see. It's 7 weeks. I'm prepared for it. I'm not handing over $1.5 trillion to the Democrat Party to fund illegals when we're having problems putting food on our own tables. I'm sick and tired of our taxpayer money going overseas when it needs to be right here domestically for the people that are having problems and struggling to make their ends meet. I'm sick and tired of the Democrat Party stealing our money to enrich lives of people halfway across the world when we have lives right here being destroyed by not having enough money or safety. I am truly American first. I don't really care about anybody other than America, okay? Once we get America under control, once I know that our vets are off the streets and have roofs over their heads, once I know that families can walk down a road again, then I'll worry about another country. But until my country is safe, I don't really give a crap about funding a damn thing for anybody else but right here on American soil. And so that's kind of where we are. We're not giving in to the $1.5 trillion. I don't even know. I can't even speak. I don't even know what the hell it's called. They're trying to extort. There it is. There's the word. Extort. Extort $1.5 trillion from the American people, and we will not comply. So we have choices. We can either fund $1.5 trillion in funding for everybody else but Americans, or we can shut our government down. I'm supporting shutting our government down for 7 weeks. It saves us a whole boatload of money. It's going to reset our spend. It's just going to reset a lot. It's what needs to happen. It's not the worst thing in the world. They're making it out like it's the worst thing in the world. I think at the end of it, we will be just fine and actually be sitting in a better position. Donald Trump was before. I'm not sure if you guys knew about this or not, but they had a Department of War meeting with all the generals and all of these big wigs in the military. And the message was very clear. Be prepared for war. And we are now, our benchmark for military excellence is nothing less than the male test for war, for military. That means if you are a female and you want to go into the military, you have to work just as hard and pass the same equivalent as men. You get no extra benefits because you've got a twat and boobs, okay? If you can't compete with men, you are out. I applaud that. I am not a sexist. I do not care whether a woman or a man has the job, but if you're going to have the job, you need to have the qualifications for that job. I do not want to see a woman in a position where a man would be able to be defending it better. If she's going to be standing there, she should be able to defend it just as good as as men. You guys know how I feel about this. Some people disagree with my standing on this, but there are just some women that should not have certain jobs, okay? I don't think a woman, unless she's an alpha female, should ever be a governor or in a powerful leader position. Like I do not like Marsha Blackburn. She's too nice. She's too emotional, okay? She doesn't have the alpha female in her that we need to run a state. Okay, she is a terrible decision for governor of Tennessee. Terrible. Not that I'm giving Bill Lee a pat on the back. I can't stand his leadership. His leadership has bred corruption in small towns across his state. I do not like him. He needs to be out on his ass. We need some new blood running the state of Tennessee, but it can't be nice blood. It has to be pit bull blood. Okay? We want a pit bull running our states that have good heads on their shoulders. I'm not in it for, I don't care if you're red, white, black, blue, green with pink polka dots. I don't care what your religion is. I only care about your ability to get the job done. What are your results? Right? And if you're not producing results, you need to get the heck out and stand aside. Okay? Pam Bondi in my purview is not producing the types of results that we need for Pam Bondi. She needs to either get off her high horse, get away from the camera, start doing her blessed job, start getting those indictments rolled out, and start making America safer and prouder again. And right now, I'm very concerned about her stink rubbing off on my beautiful president. And that's where I'm at with that conversation. But Trump stood up before the Department of War and gave them, orders that we need to be prepared. We don't want to be in war. We are going to do everything we can to fight ever being in war. But when we go to war, we want to go in there, pack a punch, and move in and move out as quickly as possible. And I think that was the message that was given. He does not want war. He wants peace around the world. He wants peace around the world. But it is peace through strength. You cannot have peace around the world without having a very strong military that can act when people get out of line. And I think that is the message we got here. The message is to our enemies, you do not want to mess with the United States of America. We're here. We love the world. We want peace throughout the world, but don't ever mistake our kindness for a weakness. And I loved the message. I absolutely loved and applauded the message from Donald J. Trump, the little bit that I could hear. So that's really everything in a nutshell, folks. I went over our, the update on the Queen Bee hearing and stuff. It's over. I'm thankful it's over. There were no winners here, but if push comes to shove and there has to be a winner, let me write the way on how this was more in line with our win than anybody else's, because let's face it, we wanted the nonsense to stop. The nonsense has stopped. They just wrote away everything they could possibly have on me. I said one statement about this crazy lady. One, she just got rid of it with prejudice. She's the one that talks about me. I'm not the one that talks about her. If she wants to continue to ruin my channel and harass me, we'll be back into court. And next time, I will not be so gracious. So there is that. We went through the Sebastian Rogers case, the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, the new updates on Daniel Martell. He's going to be speaking on the Drunken Turkey show. I believe it was already a pre-record, and he's just going through it and putting different pieces out. I'd like to see the entire interview in its entirety. It's only fair because, sometimes people hide and lie about stuff, and those things we should not be removed from the public. But it sounds like he's going to be releasing more tomorrow in an exclusive type of interview. So I'm hopeful to see that in its entirety. And we know that Daniel has provided us a lot of statements and clips from the past, more so than Malehya Brooks-Murray, which only gave us the one interview on the 3rd, which was really, really sad. And then she took off and never was seen or heard from again. So I'm interested in finding out if his story has changed. And if so, what has changed about his story? We went over Layla Santanello as well as Holland Snap. No real new updates on either one of their cases, but Ellie hasn't stopped looking for them and has been still searching, which is a far cry difference than what is going on in Sumner County with Sebastian Rogers case or Summer Wells case, where both of those corrupted counties won't even get off their ass to look for the missing child in their area. And then lastly, Donald Trump speaking to all the generals and high people in our Department of War that Pete Hegseth called before us. And I do believe we are making sure that our generals know that we are unhandcuffing them. We want the best military, the most offensive and lethal military we can have in the United States of America. We are positioning ourselves to be the most powerful country in the free world. We will absolutely be the most powerful country in the free world, and we will have a big, beautiful military to back that up. So that's kind of where we are right now in the country and with our cases. If you guys found something beneficial, please don't forget to clip it and share it. Don't forget to like this. If you would like to help on more of a more notable way, please consider doing, super thanks, super chat, or super stickers. Monthly subscriptions is always the best way to help us on a monthly basis, and I really do appreciate all the free ways that you guys can help me, which is sharing it on Facebook and other social medias, liking it, and of course hyping it. All right, guys, you guys have a great day. God bless. We'll be back soon, and we'll be having other talking points. I expect today being very, very informative. We're still looking for information about the boat shooter of the fish company. These are military guys that lost their stuff within 12 hours. Like, I'm just not buying it. I believe that there's a puppet master. I want to hear more about this puppet master. I want to hear our government and our alphabet soup taking this threat seriously and taking the concerns of the general population seriously. And if this is not what it is, somebody needs to step up to the plate and put it down, and let us know what the hell is going on here, and do a mic drop and just walk away. But we need to know what's going on here. Are we under attack? Because I'm telling you, it feels like we just went through a bunch of engineers, and now we're going through the military crazies, and it seems like we're taking genres and going through all the crazies of the genres back to back to back to back, and it just seems like all these different things are just happening all at once and so coordinated but not coordinated, and they're all lone wolves? I'm not buying it, and I need somebody to tell me the truth. And until that day comes, we're going to be sitting here just watching all this stuff unfold and being nervous about every single day. I refuse to walk with nervousness. We need to be getting out, guys. You guys need to be vigilant. And for those that are comfortable in carrying your side piece, carry it. Carry it. If you're concerned, go get training and learn how to use a firearm. It is now, I don't care if you're an anti, 2A person. You can keep being anti-2A person as you're watching your whole country burn down around you, or you can get smart and get right and get trained very, very quickly so you can protect yourself, so you don't have to rely on anybody. I'm sorry. I was taught a long time ago, the only person that's going to really care about me and my family is me and my family. Because you know what? The neighbor next door, if it comes between their family and my family, guess who they're going to pick, right? So you need to remember that when push comes to shove, who can you really trust besides yourself? You guys need to get smart. You guys need to get smart. Go get trained. Go learn how to use the thing that scares you the most. One, it's liberating. And two, it will give you power that you need for your future. Okay? Being properly trained takes the scariness away from a firearm. Learning how to properly use it takes the illusion that it's an unsafe item. It's probably the most safe thing you can have in your home when you're properly trained with that particular tool, right? You are properly trained with the tool of a car. So you're not using that car to go out and kill people, right? So it's no different than that. A car can be used as the most powerful tool of assault imaginable to a human body. But it's only used that way if the person wants to use it that way. Otherwise, it's just a tool to get around town, right? Think of it like that. All right, guys, God bless each and every one of you. If you want to know what I am reading right now, it's the Great Controversy. If you guys want to read it with me, maybe on our new channel, we'll be having some discussions. I may decide to read this book as starting out for our new channel. I may just start reading this and reading a chapter every couple days on the new channel to learn a little bit, and so we can start getting some books read and learn a little more about certain topics that we wouldn't have a discussion on otherwise. So I actually might start reading books on the new channel, our political channel, and it's the Right Move Broadcasting. Right Move Broadcasting. So if you guys haven't been over to Right Move Broadcasting, get over to Right Move Broadcasting. Right Move. And it's move right, but I couldn't say that, right? So I did right move and did my arrow to move right. Okay, now that you guys get what the logo's all about, you guys have an amazing day. We will get back to you guys very soon. Don't forget to like, share, and hype this live. We will see you soon. God bless.